Amelia, we had a reduction in funding for safety to cover some of the expenses for increasing education funding. What are you hearing out there on the street? How is it impacting schools?
That again just drives back to the issue of adequacy and having enough money, period. I think I'm getting the feeling from folks, in the education field that, the governor promised these raises. Well, even with the money that you thought would cover for the raises, it's actually still not enough. But then at the same time, we promised this school safety account. And when you're truing up all the numbers and you're realizing I can't pay for both, right? So that's just kind of the stark reality. I know some legislators were upset that day that it got significantly cut. But the reality is you have to get the money from somewhere. And if we're not raising new revenue, then it's going to come from somewhere. You have to find it, somewhere. So that's kind of I would say the loser of all of this is just cutting that. And now Clark, and I don't know about what Washoe says, but the CCSD said the other night that they just can't pay for those safety improvements on their own. They can't pay for it out of their capital budget. They've got $6 billion in deferred maintenance needs alone for their capital budget. So those are things that need to be upgraded, things that need to be worked on so that buildings aren't literally falling apart. So that's a long way there's a long list of needs to then tack that safety thing onto too. So they just can't pay for it. So that's kind of what's important to keep in mind here.
And we're not even talking about the 3% teacher raises
exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
That as well.
And I think, if I might add, the other major aspect of whatever's left over at the biennium doesn't then revert to, I think, the state general fund, if I have that correctly. I'm trying to pull it out. Okay. Since I think we pulled the numbers since fiscal year 2000, I think something about $400 million has been reverted to the state general fund, I believe out of CCSD alone. So now at the end of each biennium, we're not giving that back to the state. The state was always very frugal with how much money they give, and if it's not trued up at the end of the biennium to be exactly what you thought you needed, then you've got to give it back to us. So now hopefully we'll start to have more of that, and as Amanda said, as the economy grows, we might be able to grow and likewise decline if it declines.